Please don't borrow money from your mom or anybody to join a pyramid scheme. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea. Welcome if you are new. And I have, a lot of things happening in the MLM world. And I really wanted to talk about this faith manipulation that Christina Smallwood is like just dishing out all on her team and telling them to not listen to the outside things that people are saying. It's really gross. Thank you to the subscriber that sent this to me. I really appreciate you. If anybody else has anything, please feel free to send me a DM on Instagram or an email or whatever, and we'll figure out how I can get a hold of it. Love you for that, and always appreciate you guys and the time you spend watching my videos and helping me out for this content. So, without further ado, everything I'm about to say in this video is my opinion, for one, and two, please do not go and harass any of the people that I ever feature in my videos. That is not what I'm here to do. We are just making an example and trying to show people why they should not join an MLM. So, let's go.
Happy Monday, y'all. Okay, happy July. I think this is my first time seeing a lot of you guys on a team call in July. Hello. We had an insane record breaking. I don't think we've seen that many rank advancements in a long time. So many founders popped, so many people locked in to Loom. I mean, iPads, double.
Also, so this I think was posted on July 10th on her YouTube thing that she posts this stuff on her channel, but I don't know when it was actually recorded. I'm not sure if it was like after the stuff that happened. It was like on the 3rd or 4th of July when the CEO talked about the whole cocaine water thing. I don't know if it was before or after that, but regardless, there's always been a lot of talks. We've been talking about how we've seen Monat on the downfall ever since then, all the leaders that have left and all this stuff. So she definitely is in here telling everybody to not listen to the outside world, and it's embarrassing.
I mean, drop your wins in the chat. Like, it was such a hypey month. So many incredible things happened in June. I celebrated 7 years with the company, became a visionary founder with the company, along with several of the wonderful women I'm partnered with. I'm so excited. It's such an exciting time to be in this business. And I know it's an interesting time out there, but here's what I got to say. I pray.
I wish they were more transparent about the whole visionary founders thing, because they make it sound like you get like shares of the company, but it's like, no, it's a percentage of the commissions, and it's usually not a lot at all, and it's not worth doing. Anyways, just wanted to throw that in there. There are a bunch of other creators that have made more in-depth videos about that, so look out for those. I know CC Suarez has made one about the visionary founders, and a couple other creators have, so look out for those if you want more information on that. I will not have time to do it anytime soon, so
very hard over our business, our team. I always pray that people have a vision for the, whatever it is meant to be in their life. I feel like there's nothing worse than being like confused about or unsure about something. And so I always pray for vision for everybody. And so when I was hardcore praying last year, just about like, I don't know, I'm going to be 40. So maybe some of you guys, if you're over 40, maybe you went through this, but I almost had like this, like, I don't know, midlife crisis kind of, I don't know, just like, what am I doing with my life? What's my direction? Should I write a book? Should I do that? Like, what am I doing? I think we all have maybe those moments. And I remember walking outside my.
But aren't you like one of those people that's like a Monat lifer? What do you mean, what should you do with your life? I thought you knew you were going to be in Monat forever. I don't know. That's just thoughts that come to my head.
House, and I felt like the Holy Spirit called me out there. Okay, turn around, rainbow over my house. And it was so clear to me that God said, like, just focus on what I have in front of you. And I mean,
God didn't say that. It rained. It rained, and so the rainbow happened. Don't think that was a message from God saying to continue to manipulate people and get them to join your pyramid scheme. I just don't think that's what God's plan is for anybody. I think that's terrible to tell people that that's what's going on and to manipulate them into saying, this is our path or whatever. We were meant to be together because it was God's plan. Like, it's so disgusting. And she definitely is going to dig even harder into this.
You guys might know, like, I started a couple businesses. I was like, I'm a businesswoman. Like, I want to get experience and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, I felt like it was very clear, like, God's like, just focus on what I have in front of you. And so that is what I've continued to do. I pray very hard over our business, and people will come and people will go in
And it's not your business.
this industry that is really nothing new as far as a company is concerned. And so all I know is I'm praying for everyone's that's a part of our business for your GV to explode. That's what I'm praying for you, like your new thriving business. And so while there's
Don't you love too that she's praying for everybody's GV, so their group volume to explode, not like their personal volume? So like the group volume is what's important with Monte's comp plan, so you can maintain your ranks and keep ranking up. It's all about your team. So sounds like a pyramid scheme. Again, like they just say it and it's like they don't hear it.
noise around us, all I can think of is this is leaving more room for for our team who's here for your GVs to explode. So in a roundabout way, I know it never looks like God answers your prayers in very unique ways. Trust me, when 11 years ago, when before my dad's accident, and I started to pray for patience because I didn't know I was infertile, but we were trying to get pregnant and we weren't having success. I started getting very obsessed with getting pregnant. And like as intense as I am with Monty, I was like that, but with like getting pregnant. I mean, it was like I couldn't go a minute without talking about it and the two pink lines and the two pink and the 2 week wait. And then I had ovulation sticks and I was charting and I was tracking and the basal temperature and this position, try this, eat that diet, get acupuncture, like talk about obsessed, like in making something happen that just wasn't going to be the chemistry of my body. So I started praying for patience, which they say never do because you pray for patience. God's going to send some things your way to really like teach you patience. And then it was maybe 3 weeks later, my dad was in a horrible accident and he was in a coma for 4 weeks before he ended up passing away. And talk about wanting to like crawl out of a
Wait, that is so sad. And I hate that she uses that to manipulate people. And like, God told me to be patient. So, so so my dad got in this huge accident that put him in a coma for 4 months, and that's God's fault. Or that's my fault for asking God to make that happen. No matter how you look around that, it sounds really awful. And believe in whatever higher power you want to believe in, but using this instance and using it to manipulate people into joining your pyramid scheme is just so shitty. Like just keep that to yourself, man. It's not okay to use it as a manipulation tactic at all.
of a time in your life. Like every single minute, they felt like hours, first of all, but we didn't know if he was going to live or die. Like that, I mean, he was fighting for his life for 4 weeks. And so I learned patience. And it was the worst way to ever learn how to be patient. And then God was like, well, I don't think you're quite patient enough. So here is, your infertility and here's your adoption and here's, yes, your perfect miracle child, but she might not ever walk or talk. So talk about like a true testament to like having to now be in this position where, I mean, that's something that people tell me all the time. You're so patient. You're so patient with her. You're such a good mom. You're so patient. And I'm like, hey, guess what? I haven't always been this way. And I know that when you're praying for things, God can answer the prayer and it will look nothing like you imagined it would. And so as I could
I also don't even like when you're in that situation, I feel like it's the patience with her daughter that she is explaining. I feel like that's just a motherly instinct, and now you know it's your responsibility to raise this human, and whether it's adoption or you give birth to it, whatever, it's girl, this is not God answering your prayers, and just stop it. Stop saying this stuff.
continue to pray over our businesses. And like, I know God put me here and I know there's, different narratives getting spun around and there's different things. And I'm so aware of the entire stories and situations and things that are a part of our company and our beautiful, beautiful
Are you though? And I love that she says she's so aware of all of it, and now she's talking about how beautiful, beautiful it is. Like, ugh, gross.
opportunity that we have here that I am so solid in. Just stay where and focus on where I put you. And so that is, I mean, all I can continue to do and all that I want to do is help the people that really see the true opportunity in this business. And if you guys were on the call last night with Ashley Dreesy, oh my gosh. And she was a top 10 income earner when I joined. So the fact that she's still, in the top, I mean, it's incredible. She's Sarah Hill's direct upline. So if you guys don't know, I'm sure you know who Sarah Hill is. Ashley Dreesy is her upline, and she shared on our call last night on our success stories, which you're welcome to get on those. You're welcome to watch the replays. You are welcome to share and utilize those to grow your business. It is a
So I have also the directory to where all those success stories are. And I actually met Ashley Dreesy. She did this whole like she told her success story. Honestly, I can't even freaking remember it. But that was yeah, so if she's Sarah Hill's upline, Like she's been in there like OG, like one of the first market partners, not the first market partner, because we know that was Tony. But it's like when you're that high up and you have people like Sarah Hill under you, of course you're freaking gonna still be at the top. That's how that works. Duh. Like when you're that high up, it's sustainable for you for a little while, especially when you have people like Sarah Hill underneath you. But for the people that they are bringing into the company, it's not sustainable for them. And it's only sustainable for these top people for as long as they can continue to convince people to join the pyramid scheme and for as long as they can continue to use faith manipulation and all this other crap. And I feel like it's dwindling down. We already know these paychecks are dwindling down even for those top people. It is not the same. So,
Opportunity for people to be able to be exposed to all the leaders of Monat, just not just the leaders of your team. That's something that's very unique, is what I'm learning in direct sales. The more I do these speaking and I do these collaborations, and I have my foot in this door with all these top leaders from all these different companies. And trust me, I'm very well aware of what's out there. You guys, the top income earners of Monat make easily 4 times what the top people in other companies make. Like there's something to be said for that. And so I just really think you guys need to understand that. Like it's like I'm aware. And so even Eric Worre, when I get to have my conversations with him about stuff, he's just like, you guys have no idea what you have here. And I'm like, I feel like I'm very well aware of what I have here. But when he says it like that from his perspective, I'm like, holy crap, like we haven't even gotten started yet. Like truly. And with all that they're launching at Monations, I have signed NDAs, and I am referencing.
I love that they always say they're just getting started in whatever context they say it in. It's it's just so terrible. Like stop, please don't believe this stuff.
This way because I have some things here, but I'm like, there is so much to be excited for. I can't. Okay, so with the motivations being said, with all that being said, I always pray like, God, bring words to me, because for these like little calls that I do every week, I go a little bit of mindset, or like a little bit of a real story, or something that is on my heart, and then we go into the news, because there's a lot of chats, there's a lot of calls, there's a lot of everything. So I'll organize it here for you, at least what to focus on this week. We are going to announce the Gucci winner.
But we're definitely going to ignore all the negative stuff. I'm only going to only take the information that I'm going to tell you. This is information control. So she's going to be like, yeah, there's been lots of things said, but she's only going to give you the good stuff, or that, comes off as good. So just another little cult tactic that they do, in my opinion, to get them to join. And this whole video is just going to be so gross. Like I haven't gone through all of it yet. So I went through a good chunk of it, but we're going to finish it off together.
From last month's contest, and probably the next contest. And then I'm going to talk about the new tools in the back office, and we're going to talk about flex ships. Okay, flex ships are not a 4-letter word. Flex ships are good. Flex ships are amazing. Okay, so we're going to talk about all these things. But first and foremost, July 10th is the last day to register your Monations bundle. So if you bought a ticket off.
Okay, so not July 10th then. Oh no, that's right, because she just posted this like late in. Okay, that was stupid for me to, sorry.
Somebody, and you sent them, $99, $100, whatever you worked out, 106 with tax, I think some people are doing. But if you bought a ticket from somebody on a bundle, you have to have it registered by July 10th. So perfect. Yes. If anyone needs an extra, there's a ton floating around from bundles. And once you register it in your name, you cannot switch the name. So it's registered and locked to you. So I know a lot of people, were holding on to some like right up until this moment. So get that registered. There's explanations. Whoever sent you the bundle, they got an email with an explanation, how to go on, what code to use, all that kind of stuff. But make sure you are registering by the 10th of July. Okay. And then what's on the table right now, most pressing information to me, is that this $100 coupon, okay, it ends the 15th. So it's for anyone that enrolls with the $199 and higher pack. I didn't check the FAQ. I totally assumed it was for the $149 pack too. Did a whole live about it. And, then I had a couple people slide in my DMs like, I don't think the $100 coupon's for the $149 pack.
Don't you love that they don't have all the information before they share things on their lives? Yikes.
I'm like, shoot. So anyways, I mean, we all make mistakes, you guys. I'm saying there's a lot of information that goes around, a lot. So June was different. So just July is where it excludes that $149 pack. And then they launched that new $199 pack, the customizable skincare, hair care, amazing pack. It's over $400 and something worth for $199. So great value, great deal. That also comes with a $100 coupon. So, and then that ends on the 15th. And if they're doing the thing again, where if you sponsor someone and they get that pack, you get the coupon too. So I think that that's really, really exciting. Someone just asked about the iPads from last month. Typically how Monat does incentive.
How are they making money? Like, no wonder they had to change the comp plan. I know they've always done like their flash sales like every weekend, so it's like, how are they making any money? And then you start to wonder, someone made this point in my recent video about pharmacy, like if they're able to sell the products for so effing cheap, like there's no way those ingredients are that good. And like I'm starting to think that way with Monat and the amount of like the more just because they're discounting them even more unless they truly are just hoping that they can get it into as many hands as possible. But I mean, it's very clear that they're desperate for like sales and recruitment now. But I mean, I guess also feel like every pyramid scheme is at any point in time.
And it's kind of how what I've adopted for their incentives too is and it's in the FAQ. Every single incentive or anything that comes out on that first of the month email that they send us, there's always an FAQ button that you can tap and it'll open up a whole entire information. So if you're like, I'd like to know more about this, there's a button on each at the bottom of each little picture in our email where you can tap that button and it opens up. So it'll tell you, when can I expect this? When will these be shipped? So typically for an incentive with Monat, what they do is after the 15th of the following month, those incentives, get emailed to you or sent to you or whatever. And it's usually after the 15th. So after commissions close for the following month. So let's say you earned an iPad in June, after July 15th, most likely, I didn't look at the FAQ, I'm assuming, but I bet I'm pretty close, if not spot on. So, but that's where you find the information and then that's the answer. But so that's the most pressing thing to me is I made sure I'm posting about it. And then on the back end, I'm following up with anybody that was maybe interested that didn't get around to it last month or new prospects, letting them know what's on the table. And something that's been working really, really well. So if you're taking notes, this has been working really, really well for a lot of my like smaller group that I coach one-on-one is what we're doing is instead of just following up and letting someone know the incentive, we're following up and then actually mapping them out what their specific bonuses will be. So if you were interested in partnering this month, there's $100 off the box. Most people would follow up like that, let them know you can get $400 worth for $199. They're the products you're really excited about. You can customize it. There's $100 back for you, if you do it before the 15th. Most people leave it there. What we're doing is adding another layer to it and saying, and then how we can make you like basically mapping out how they're going to make their money back. So if you bring on 2 people with this pack, your commission will be blocked. And then you will also get $100 in shop credit times 2. And then you will hit the first rank in the company. And then you will earn this. So kind of mapping it out. And I'm going to drop that in the classroom, like a little bullet pointed thing. I always drop everything in the classroom in US dollars. I know some of you guys are in different countries. And so you'll, got to like tweak it a little bit to fit, each market. But that has been definitely helping people further the conversation. And especially if someone's like, well, I just don't have the money right now, write on 1 in the chat. If you have a conversation hanging in the balance right now that said, I just don't have the money, I would if I had the money. And like, you're like, okay, well, reach back out to me when you have the money, right? Or something along those lines, because you're like, how the heck do I advance this conversation past that? Well, this is what I do, and this is what Daniel G has taught, and this is what a lot of people do to advance it, is don't let them end there. And so I'm gonna shout out one of my girls, Stephanie Singleton. She's like amping it.
I like the whole like mapping out, like it gives people false hope. And like that's like, oh, just sign your girlfriend up or your husband up. And then it's like you find they're trying to get you to recruit before you've even been recruited. Like that's so terrible. And like the thing is too, is there's no guarantee that you can make the money back. It's like this is the path to make the money if you can successfully recruit this amount of people and sell this amount of stuff. And that's never guaranteed. And they break it down, like they dumb it down so they make it seem so easy, but it's not because not everybody's got that extra money. It's just
Up this month, she's like the gloves are off, she's going hard on it. And I feel like a lot of you guys are in that place, like I'm done messing around. Like I am doing this business. I'm doing every challenge that is, sent my way. I'm doing every single action step that I should be doing on a daily basis. Like I'm doing this. And guess what happens? When you take the appropriate action steps, you begin to see results. This isn't a business you can sit and think about doing. You have to actually just start doing it. And if you want to get good at it, the more you throw yourself in these situations, just like if an athlete wants to if you want to decide you want to run a marathon, you can't just read about running. You gotta get up and run. If you want to be a good bowler, you want to get good at bowling. Do you read all about bowling? Okay, well if I spin the ball this way and if my elbow goes back this way, you could know everything about how to be a good bowler. But the best way to get good at bowling is you got to be willing to throw some gutter balls.
Yeah, time, freedom, who?
Like you got to be willing to stand up, put the shoes on, spray the whatever on your feet, right? You got to be willing to kind of look dumb, like, and a lot of people get embarrassed to bowl. And they'll say, no, like, and so it's like, you got to be willing to get up and throw gutter balls if you want to learn how to throw strikes. Like, that's just, and the best way to practice is throw yourself into it and live at the bowling alley. Okay. I'll probably make a reel out of this and say it a lot better, but that really, it came to me the other day. I don't know why I was thinking about bowling. And I'm like, I feel like learning to bowl is just like learning to do this business, you know, like it's so good.
That's so delusional or something. I don't know what the word is. That does not, that's literally not like bowling at all. At least I don't think it is. I feel like she's trying to say that the more you do it, the better you get at it. But the thing is with MLMs, it doesn't matter. The more you do it, it might be easier for you to then start reaching out to strangers and, have your scripts and do whatever. Like that, in theory, might be easier for you to do once you do it more. But the fact of the matter is you won't actually start getting results. You're not guaranteed those results at all in any network marketing company. And most people don't get those results. And we see that every year with the income disclosure statements. Every single year, it's proven that most people lose money in MLMs. So it doesn't matter how much time and effort you put into it. You're probably not, you might get a couple strikes here and there, but you're never going to get that 300. You are never going to, if she wants to use this analogy, oh girl, I'm going to use the freaking analogy. It's not going to be like that at all. The results are not guaranteed. They're not.
So no, we don't accept Klarna right now. Someone's asking if Klarna works for Money Packs, which is a natural thing to think like, oh, how can I make it cheaper for somebody? If there's a payment plan, surely. Okay, so now back to that. So what Stephanie did in a recent conversation, so freaking proud of her, was someone said, I would do it, I just don't have the money. And what we know about this is they probably have over $150 that they will spend at dinner, drinks, a concert, Target, wherever else. So it's not necessarily not about physically not having the money. In their mind, it's I just don't think it's going to be worth it. Like that's typically what that holdup signifies. I have been in situations where people have been like, Christina, all my credit cards are maxed out. I legitimately do not have, $160 to my name, but I would do this. And I say, okay, let's get on the phone and let's talk about who that will do this with you. So I'm already coaching them into how we're going to help them make their money back before they've even clicked join now. You guys, this is a step that a lot of people don't do. And what it does is you go back to the person and you say, hey, is money.
That's just really sad that you are gonna try to bring somebody into the business that truly doesn't have that extra money, and then getting that, like, making them think that they're gonna make as much money as you are. That's so disgusting.
The only thing like truly stopping you, like if you had $200 in your account right now, would you buy a product pack? If they're like, yes, I want to do this, don't let them just sit there then. Get them in action. So get on the phone with them and onboard them the same you would a market partner, basically. How much money do you want to make? Who do you know in your contact list that would do this with you? Do you have a friend, a sister, someone that would support you? Because you guys can line up a list for them. Okay, mom said she's in for a 149 pack. Sister said she's in for a 149 pack. So you can start doing the math with them. And as soon as you start mapping out how they're going to make it back, guess what? It's worth it. You know what? Okay, I'm going to borrow the money from my mom and then I'm going to pay her back. Like you people start getting way more creative when they know that it's worth it. And so you've got to be willing to kind of spend that time with somebody. And don't get me wrong, I've spent time with
Please don't borrow money from your mom or anybody to join a pyramid scheme.
people and it not go anywhere. But what's my heart? I want to be the leader that truly serves others. So that means I need to be willing to serve others, even if it might mean there's nothing in return for me, right? Because that's what I want to be. And so it's like, think about where you want to go, who you want to be when you get there. And you got to be willing to put your time into these people a little bit and help them. And so people will learn. And a lot of times just me getting on the phone with someone to map them, they're like, wow, I did not think that I would get like this kind of support or help. Like, you know what? I don't even have the people, but I'm willing to do it. That happens way more often than not. And so I think a lot of times people have been burned by this industry. People see people hopping around. People see like no longevity with people or loyalty. And so they're like, and I just learned this. I didn't even know that this existed, but listen to this. So in some network marketing companies, I can't even believe this. You can say like, okay, like, and I always wondered why people would ask me like, Christina, if I sign up with you, am I joined with you? And I never really understood what that question meant. I'm like, of course, like, yes, duh, and they're like, because come to find out in certain types of comp plans, there is where I would send my link to someone and it would auto populate someone in my downline for them to be technically enrolled with. So it's like a lottery system. And I'm like, I had no idea this kind of thing existed. So I think that.
But you would still be in that person's upline. You wouldn't be a direct upline. And you literally can't tell me that there are not people in her downline. This is, it's alleged, and it is my opinion, and it is something that happened in Money when I was in it, happened on my team and people above me and side people, whatever. I've seen it happen. So I know it does. We've seen it in other videos. We've found the proof. But again, allegedly, and there's just no way, like in my opinion, that this isn't happening on her team. Again, though, it is speculation, but I feel like there's a pretty high chance that she is stacking people. But the thing is, too, is because that's how they have to maintain their ranks. And so if somebody underneath her is not needs somebody to rank up underneath her to rank up and whatever, they will strategically place somebody underneath somebody else. That's how they are staying at the freaking top of the company, because they're the people that are getting more inquiries, and you freaking know it. So I just feel like there's just, it's my personal opinion that there are lies happening somewhere. I can't say it enough that is my opinion, but again, we have seen it in other teams, and I've seen it in my personal team back when I was in it.
Like just kind of being aware of like the industry and like the things that go on, it really is mind blowing. And so the more educated we grow, and I try to share everything that I learned like on these calls. But it's like everything, these little things that we learn, you can turn around and share, and it's really, really crazy. Okay. So basically that's what I would do. And I think it's a better investment for your time to follow up with people and walk them through the steps and map out exactly how to make their money back. And if you don't know how to exactly help someone make their money back, I used to overthink this too, because I'm like, okay, I know about blocks, but like, how do people really make money? And it's like, well, that is the map. So for every 4 VIP customers,
If you don't know and you were confused by how you got paid, why the F did you think it was a good idea to join? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to make anybody feel stupid. I'm just saying, like, MLM companies are always like, it's so easy, we get paid so easily. We just sell shampoo, you just share, and then they'll come back and be like, well, you get paid 11 different ways. And then now I'm freaking confused. And it's just like, ugh, there's so much. How I get paid should not be confusing. That's all I'm saying. If you are confused, I know I've said this in another video, if you are confused about how you get paid in a company, and it's not just straightforward, you get this amount of commission for every sale you make. If it's, well, if you recruit this amount of people, this is your bonus. And if you get this many people and this many customers, then it's this bonus. If like, you have to write it all down, and then you find out that you only get those bonuses in the first 3 months, like, just red flag, just run, girl, run. It's not going to be good. So just things to keep in mind. Again, I don't mean to make anybody feel stupid, because honestly, I did it too. I was very confused when I joined Monate. I didn't understand. Looked at their little sheet that was like, oh, you can get paid 10 different ways or 11 different ways, where the hell it was. And I was like, oh, cool. So there's all these ways to get paid. And I was like, I'll figure it out later. I now know that that was a red flag, that I just did not understand how I got paid. So that's why I'm saying that. Like, nobody has to feel stupid. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm just saying that's a huge red flag, and it's things we need to keep an eye out for when when you find yourself in a situation and you're like, is this an MLM?
$60 US bonus. If there are 4 VIPs in the same month, that continues on forever. But it can be 4 VIPs within the entire Smart Start period. For every 4 accrues a $60. For every time someone buys a product pack, you as the sponsor get a bonus, a cash bonus. And then, this month we have the coupon. You can, and I think it's 3 max that you can get the coupon. And then every rank advancement is a bonus. We have matching bonuses. So let's say you enroll someone and you help them build a block. They get $150, you get $75. You help them hit MMP, they get an MMP bonus, you get an MMP bonus for helping them hit MMP. So it's like our compensation plan is insane with the way it rewards the leader for just helping someone duplicate that.
And no, that's not true, because I didn't even get a rank up bonus when I ranked up to MMP, because I found out that I ranked up a month later than I was supposed to. So like, you have a limited amount of time for when you can get these bonuses. So I don't think me or my upline got that rank bonus. Maybe she did and I didn't. But because I finally got that rank on like the 7th or 8th month, and you were supposed to do it in the first 6 months. So that's stupid. And more information that gets withheld from people, and then they blame you and say, well, you should have been working harder to make it happen faster. And it's just not, this is not how that works.
Behavior. And so 4 VIP customers, 1 market partner, that's a block. And then you get the product pack bonus, you can get the acquisition bonus, you get commissions on top of that. So just understanding 1 block is huge. And a lot of you leaders on here, I'm going to say MMPs and above, you might assume that your new market partners know what a block is, but you cannot drill it enough for them. We recently had like a little group, and we like challenged everybody, like, tell us what a block is. and they couldn't. And so it's like, okay, we're missing something here. Like we need to be definitely explaining what a block is, what the
Yikes. So you're just really not explaining the comp plan. These people are joining, have no idea how they're getting paid. They're just like, "Oh yeah, you make a bunch of money," and then you're not taking the time to explain it to them. I just feel like there's just so many red flags for people that have been sucked into this. Again, me being one of them in the past. It's just like crazy. I know I'm not supposed to say the word crazy, but I have no other way to explain it. If you guys have other words for me to use, please drop them in the comments. I'm trying to be correct here. I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but sometimes I am who I am, and we're just used to saying things until we learn. So it's not okay to me.
value of it is and how to do it. Well, you want to get customers, you usually talk about the product results. You want to get partners, you usually talk about the benefits of the market partner and share other success stories. So that's what we do is we market to help you get customers and we market to help you get partners. In the hopes that you will begin building blocks.
Oh, look at that. You finally made it easy. So you either get customers and sell shampoo, or you recruit people. Those are the two ways you get paid. Look, she finally broke it down.
Which is a very healthy way to grow your business. 4 customers, 1 market partner. Okay, there's a question in the chat. Let me grab it. Oh, yeah. Okay. What do you say when someone tells you they want to do the business, but they're on disability? So the same goes for disability or on like medical leave. Like there's like different things that people have, or like on unemployment. So it just depends. You know what, Lauren? We have a whole thread about this because it depends on the state, it depends on the rules. But typically, most people just when you get your form every month for disability or unemployment, you have to fill in what you made, and so they just have to be honest about that, what they made, and then usually it just counteracts. But it just depends on the state, the rules, and all that kind of stuff. So that's like a little bit more difficult to answer.
And that's scary too, because people probably aren't keeping track of exactly what they made in the way that they're supposed to when it comes to like profit and loss, or having like your own business, and remembering that this is pre-tax and pre like expenses and all that stuff. So, and then what number would you put on there? I'm not sure, because I'm not a tax professional in any way, but that's definitely, we shouldn't I don't think we should be getting that information from her. I think that's somebody that you need to speak to, like a tax professional, or just again your like county office, to figure out what would happen in that situation. Because that's also very scary that you start doing this and then you realize you lost money, but then now you've been kicked off of unemployment because you've started working. I don't know, that's very like shady to like even encourage people to do that, to like get off of unemployment and social security, because you can it's just really difficult to get back on those benefits, I know, sometimes, because those offices are so like wildly like they're so busy. So I guess that's very, yeah, I would just not recommend. I mean, we always say that nobody should be joining an MLM, but you definitely should be joining an MLM if you are on unemployment or on social security, because that is going to be a more secure income for you than joining this company where you're probably going to lose money.
Generally, but a lot of girls have been on disability and then they start making so much with their money that they get off. Same with unemployment. And I know for a lot of people, there's like this fear that they're going to lose their benefits. And then we do have women that completely get off of it because they begin doubling that and tripling that with their money business. So they're not as worried about continuing to collect, whatever. I had a prospect in France that she's like, when they're on maternity leave, they're not allowed to make $1, like not allowed to make $1. So she's, has to wait until that. But I think there's so many different scenarios for that question. But okay. So what else is on the table? So basically helping people map out and take that information back to those people and be willing to give them your time and watch your business begin to shift around, because you could follow up with 2 people today and help them hit MMP, help them map them out to MMP. And then boom, you can literally get all this, popcorn popping in your business just because you were a little bit more strategic with your time and not saying, I'm only going to help someone once they click join now. And don't get me wrong, I had that mentality in the past, which is why I am teaching you this way, because it's just so much more lucrative for your business and enriching too, because you really see the power that this business can have in someone's life by a simple conversation. It really is mind blowing. Okay, so that all ends the 15th. I would get on that ASAP, because as soon as if you have someone too that's like, well, I want that $100 coupon, I'm going to sign up before the 15th. It's worth your time to follow up with them and say, okay, I know you want this coupon and you want to wait till, before the 15th, other people might want the same deal that are going to partner with you. And I would want them to get the same deal that you're getting. Yes. And they're like, yes, of course. And so it's like, okay, well, either start reaching out to them now, or let's get you signed up and let's like get you onboarded. And a lot of times people don't know. And so you're thinking that they are like, you're thinking and assuming all kinds of things.
Pressure, FOMO. You definitely have to join before the 15th, and don't you want to make sure that the people that you're recruiting in here get the same deal as you? Yikes. That's not good either, because now you're causing them to make an impulsive decision, which could turn into regret and now doesn't give them enough time to look up other information to know if this is actually a legitimate thing. They're only taking the information from her. And I don't like that.
So that's why just, I mean, being a good communicator is part of like this business. So just communicate with them, that like little extra step. Like we want to make sure that anyone that's your friends and family is also going to get this deal too.
How about we communicate the income disclosure statements to every person that you might recruit? Let's try that for communication.
They don't always sign up right away, but at least they're aware and you've done your due diligence to make sure that they're aware of like how this works. And usually, I mean, sometimes they extend it and sometimes they don't. They didn't last month. So I don't bank on money extending anything ever. Even if they've done it 3 times in a row, I don't bank on them extending the next thing. Like we cannot live our life assuming they're going to extend anything because there's nothing worse than like the next day it not getting extended and you're like, oh my gosh, I should have followed up with that person. I totally thought that they were going to extend it. Write a 0 in the chat if you've ever been in that position where you're like, I totally thought they were going to extend it and they didn't. It sucks. Yes. So, okay, perfect 10. Drop a 10 in the chat if you are perfect 10. You guys, it's so exciting. Every single month that you hit, yay, every single month that you hit, that you will get like put into this like revolving door of prizes that end up at your door. This $10,000 value training. We're all in a chat with Eric Worre and each other. And it really is very exciting. Oh my gosh, I'm 1 away. I need 3 more. So exciting. I'm so excited for you guys. Okay, so basically all like perfect 10 is what's up. And very just it's super fun and cool. And I mean, I can't even believe that they are doing something like this for us. And there's a whole science behind it and all that. Okay. And then this Wednesday, if you have your calendar out, this Wednesday.
I can't even believe they're doing something like that for us. Yeah, I saw when she posted about that, and I don't like fully understand what it is again, but it's just for me it's another form of like love bombing where like once you do a certain amount of sales or recruitment, then you can enter into a pool to win a fun prize because it sounds like people were winning like iPads and stuff like that. So it's yikes. It's just a more incentive for you to recruit more people into Monate.
At 8 a.m. Pacific on the same Zoom link, I'm officially finally doing the stylist call, the call for hairstylists to strategize them behind the chair. I've had so many conversations with stylists about simplifying and how to make it easy for them behind the chair and what's the best practice and all that kind of stuff. So we will definitely be addressing all those talking points on this Wednesday.
Yikes. I say that as a stylist that was in Monate. Yikes. And big yikes for me in my past too, but you learn, you move forward. But the fact that she tries so hard to recruit so many hairstylists because she was one, I don't know if she still actively is, but I don't like that. And yeah, we're just gonna leave it there.
At 8 a.m. Pacific, I'm going to be doing a call specifically on that. So if you're a stylist or want to recruit a stylist, this will be a really good call for you to utilize. And okay, so I said July 10th for Monations. We went over the 15th is like this cutoff. And just rule of thumb, wherever you're at in your business, if you begin to put some urgency in it, how many of you guys feel like you struggle with urgency? Yes, it'll be recorded. Majority of my calls are recorded, by the way. But urgency in your business, I remember when it's like, okay, if you have all month to do something, you'll take up until those last 2 days. I've been doing this business long enough. And it's why I literally have a book about organizing your business because I realize this is the biggest struggle for most people. People will never be more urgent than you. So if you are following up with people with a little sense of urgency to get them in, to get them done, to get them, help them start making money right away. If you're like, oh, well, she doesn't want to do it yet. She said she's going to wait till Friday when she gets paid. I'm like, are you going to wait till Friday to talk to her? Because you could talk to her now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You could talk to her now.
Time freedom, who? How many times do you think we could say that when she just talks about like how you constantly have to talk to people and follow up with people and do this, that, and the other thing? And that's also what they teach you in Rank Makers, like to make that list. And because I was in Rank Makers as well, which some of you guys have heard a lot about from Julie Anderson. And I was in that group with her at the same time, which is crazy when we discovered that when we were talking on her channel. But yeah, they'll tell you to like follow up constantly, constantly, constantly. And it's just the idea that no means not right now is gross. No is a full sentence. Remember that.
And have a whole list ready to go. That way, as soon as she joins on Friday, she's got people that she's enrolling on Friday. Like you let time, it's time's of the essence. And like those action steps that you can be doing with people, that is how you see people promoting so many MMPs and so many MMPs and hitting these ranks really quick and getting these really insane paychecks is because they are acting with more urgency. They know how that.
It's because they are recruiting more people, so they're getting these really big paychecks.
valuable time is. They're not letting, okay, well, I'll wait till she gets paid to do something like that. Okay, so Ashley asked a valuable question in the chat. How do I go about messaging someone when I have continued to message them, but they do not reply?
You guys see her dog in the back. Her dog's really cute.
I've been blocked, I've been, muted, I've been avoided in the grocery store. Like I've had all those things happen. And what I realized is following up is there's an art to it, but I won't message someone past a certain amount of times if they're not reciprocating the conversation. Instead, what I will do is I choose to love on their content. So I watch their stories, I react, I engage. I follow along on their posts. I love on their content. Like I am supporting them, especially if we've DM'd and they've left me on. I always assume people just get busy. Lord knows I've done it to other people. Like especially if they want me to buy something or try something or whatever, that kind of in my mind goes on the back burner because I'm not thinking about their stuff every single day. Like we are focused on our business every day. We're focused on shampoo every day. Most people aren't walking around thinking about shampoo, and so it's like it's easy to assume because we're thinking about it and we're thinking that's the elephant in the room that they are too. But it's a clear sign if someone's just not responding. And then on the other end, I just basically will just love on their content and support them. And if they, I just engage with the content they're putting out. That's how I tend to follow up with someone. And if I see that they're watching my stuff, I'll go in my stories and say all the things that I want to say to them, to my audience in the stories. And that never, ever fails me. So, because then sometimes they'll DM me like, I feel like you're talking to me. I'm like, I am. I am talking to you. Shay said, how do you deal with someone constantly commenting on something saying my name ruins your hair? I block them. I'm at a phase in my life and I have talked to,
We block out that information and just pretend that it doesn't exist.
Daniel G. I learned this from Daniel G. and a lot of other top network marketers that I follow. Daniel G's in sales. He's like, ain't got time for haters, block them and move on. And honestly, there's elements of my life that I'm like, if I'm focused on, and I know, like I said, like I know God put me here to talk about these things and share and like all this stuff. And so I'm not going to let anyone like rain on my parade. And it's not that I'm not open, but there's a certain level of, when someone's like, I want to try it, but I'm just really nervous. I read this kind of stuff. Like, what do you have to say? And they're willing to have a conversation. There's that happens and that's real. And then there's the people that just want to try to sabotage you and ruin your business. And there's no.
Well, no one's trying to sabotage you. We're trying to make sure that other people don't get sabotaged. Like we don't want to see people lose money. And there's proof out there, whether it is about the products or just about the fact that 99% of people in MLMs lose money. It's like you can't ignore that. I get it. You can block whoever the hell you want on your social media. I do it too. I block people, whatever. It's fine. But the fact that we're just going to pretend that some information isn't out there or say it's false when it's not is not good business practice.
Reasoning or logic that can go into that. So I just block them. You are free to block whoever you want. And so I don't know. Daniel G's always said that. He's like, the moment someone's negative on and he said, SHIT, but the moment someone's negative, I block them. They're gone. You don't get to exist in my world. And so I don't know. I have not had any issues. And here's the thing: when you wake up, are you guys familiar with what the RAS is? The RAS of your brain. RAS. Reticular. What does it stand for? Someone write it down. What it stands for. I just know it's the RAS. But basically, it is your brain. As soon as you start telling yourself these narratives, your brain's going to find a way to make that narrative like true. And so if you wake up and you're like, well, actually, you know what? I have a video of this lady that explains it a lot better. I'm going to share that. We're going to get a little bit into this because I think that this is really, really good. Well, that didn't work. My phone has been wigging out. Reticular activating system. Yes, thank you.
Girl syndrome actually works. I'm a life coach, and this is something I teach to all my clients. So there's a place in the back of your brain called your reticular activating system. We call it the RAS for short. And its job is to store all the information that comes into your brain. About 11 million pieces of information come into your brain every moment, and you can process about 26 pieces of information in any moment. So there's a lot that gets filtered out. And your RAS, the part that filters that, starts working the second you wake up in the morning. And it's asking what it is that you want to focus on. What is it you want to look for in that day? So if you wake up and you're like, God, I'm so tired. Oh, this day's going to suck. Then it's like, bam, thank you. I will filter all the information that comes in your brain for ways, times, events that actually suck and promote the fact that you are tired. But if you tell it something like, I'm lucky, I'm peaceful, it will start to look for that in your brain because that is what you have told it is important to you. Just make sure that you say it in the positive. You don't say, I don't want to be. The brain doesn't understand the negative. It only understands the positive. And if you do this day after day after day with the same thing, eventually you don't even need to do this as much because your brain already knows, oh, when I become conscious, that's what I want to think about. That's what I want to look for. This is also why it works when you are thinking about buying a red car and suddenly you see red cars everywhere. The reticular activating system in the back of your brain. So lucky girl syndrome actually has something to it.
So this is why I don't spend any time on negative things. My brain is so trained, like I shared in
I'm so brainwashed to think that Monate is not a pyramid scheme. I don't know. I understand that, like, how your brain is like, you see the red, like, I see Camaros everywhere ever since I bought mine and before I was even like when I was looking to buy one. So I get that, but to apply it to an MLM and trying to put yourself in that echo chamber of negativity or positivity, whatever, you get it. You get it. That it's just I don't like it applied to this situation. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Beginning of this fall, my dad dying, infertility. I had to wake up and protect my mind every single day. So this is why, because my brain is so trained to only see the positive, and it is something I still practice to this day. And it is why on my habits book, gratitude is the first thing that you are going to do in the morning because it trains your brain to see the positive. If the first thing that you do is you wake up and you look at your notifications and there's a bunch of negative crap, then your brain is only going to think about the negative crap and you're going to feel like you're on defense for your business. So this is why I just block and move forward. Okay. It protects my peace. It protects the way I show up. You guys, I wouldn't be the leader I am today if I wasn't this way. And so we wouldn't have the team that we have today if I wasn't this way.
But the validity of the negative or the think about it this way for this type of industry, the MLM industry, if you want to call it that, it it's valid that people have questions before they spend the money and that they're looking into it and they want more information, and they should look at that information not just on your profile but on other people's. I think it's very important to show both sides so people can make the right educated decision before they join what I think is a pyramid scheme.
So think about how your life is positively impacted by, the decisions that you make and how that trickles down. Every moment you spend on something negative, and when I've had people tell me, "Oh, I got all this hate," and I'm like, "How many messages did you get?" And they got one message, and I look at the rest of the comments, and there's like 10 positive comments. I'm like, "Wait, you got one negative comment," and in your mind it was, "I got all this hate," and it's like you got one negative comment for like 10 positive comments. But it's crazy how negativity just holds so much weight, and it takes so many positive things to counteract that. So if you want to operate, I'm going to use the word frequency. I don't even really know how I feel about the whole frequency thing, but I do believe that we have these boundaries in our life and in our business.
So so she won't be joining Olive Tree people once Monet crashes and burns. If she does, we're gonna remember that she said that.
The higher you're going to be operating, the less you're going to spend any attention on it. So just block and move on. You're not going to convince somebody. And anybody that's like coming at you that's anti-Monat or anti-MLM, okay? And I don't care how you vote. I don't get political, okay? I don't get political on my calls. But it would be like if you were a Trump supporter and you are trying to get somebody to vote for Biden or vice versa. It is like that hard of a line that like is just not crossable. If you're trying to convince an anti-MLM or an anti-Monat person all the truths that you know to be true and why it's an amazing thing. And so no one can dispute your experience, your stories, your results. People can't dispute that. So just block and move on. That's not the person that's for you. That's not what you're meant to be here for. And I've had haters.
I just think it's funny because there are so many of these girls and top leaders, and I want to say that Christina Smallwood was one of them, where at the beginning she's like, oh yeah, I would totally never do this business and I'm totally like anti-MLM and what is this, whatever. I don't know for sure, but I definitely I feel like she was one of the top leaders that said that. Again, I could be wrong. Don't take my word for that. Don't take that as fact. I just also know that there are a lot of top leaders in Monat that are all like, yeah, I used to be anti-MLM and now I'm not. And why is my white balance being so weird? Anyways, you get it though, and how that's like so not valid, I guess, based on what a lot of the top leaders have said in the past. Oh, I was anti-MLM and now I'm, now I love it. So that argument just doesn't work because it adds to the doublespeak of what these girls say. But I feel like you should definitely take into account, again, obviously people that are thinking about joining Monat probably have not made it this far into my video. But please look at the information on both sides and don't look at it as anti-MLM as hate. Anti-MLM is education, and we want people to not lose money. It's education and a little bit of consumer protection. So there are a lot of people out there that can give this information for what it is, that we've seen people make it to the top of an MLM and also realize that it is a scam.
In every type of way. When I worked for the Real Housewives of Orange County, you think it did not attract a lot of haters to me? You're out your mind. How can you be friends with Tamara? She said this about so-and-so. How can you even do her hair? I'm like, because I got paid and hired to do a job and I'm going to do this job. And I actually enjoy this job. Okay. With Finley, how could you even still adopt a little girl that was born with a disability? I mean, there's just people are going to say something about anything. Okay. And the moment.
Yeah, but the anti-MLM people actually have like valid reasons for saying that. They're not just hating. like somebody tells you that you shouldn't adopted your daughter because she has a disability, that's really effed up. So like you can't compare that. Those are two completely different things. It is definitely not the same. That is messed up that anybody would say that about you adopting a child with special needs. Like that, you're an angel for doing that. You're shitty for being at the top of an MLM and scamming people and getting them into this business, but what she does outside of that, it doesn't mean that she's always a bad person. I mean, I don't know her personally. I just know that I don't like that she does this.
What you learn, oh, boundary, not allowing this negativity in my life, blocked, the better you are. And a lot of people will say that I just want to sweep stuff under the rug. No, I just have a lot of people to impact and a lot of positive to do. And every moment I spend focusing on something negative is something, it's directly affecting the amount of.
But you are sweeping things under the rug. You're not like hearing you're saying that your clients or whatever, like, so your downline and their positive experiences are valid, but the negative experiences of people that used to be in your downline or your sidelines or whatever, that their experiences aren't valid. I think those real experiences are very important to show people so that way people understand, but we're just going to pretend those don't exist.
Energy I'm pouring into the positive things and the people that look to me and the people that depend on me and the family that I have. And so this is why I don't spend a lot of time on it. I will listen, I will hear somebody out, but the moment I can tell their mind's made up, it's mumbo jumbo. Okay, we're not meant for each other right now. I love you. I wish you well. Like, that's it. So, okay, someone asked something else in the chat. Let's see. Pyramid schemes. First, drop a 1 in the chat if you've gotten the pyramid scheme objection recently. And you guys might have not seen my stories. I recommend duplicating them. And I actually stole them from Brittany, my upline, Mama's Time Out. I'm going to share with you guys this real quick. Oh, look who it is. The beautiful Miss Casey. Okay, so so I did my little story time. I actually followed some social media chick was like, this is the lazy art to storytelling, Jeff using pictures. Try this formula, blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying it out. And I've actually gotten quite a few people that have DM'd me box at the end of it. And some of you guys, I've had a few of the mentor leaders message me saying, I'm duplicating this. I'm like, do it. Like, I like to try things out. So I shared my story. And then what I did was at the end of it, it's this chat GPT. What are top 5 reasons people say no to direct sales? And then it lists the top.
You know what I love about this is the last time I featured her in my videos, I covered these stories. So if I remember, I'll link that video in the description so that way you guys can watch that. But I literally debunk everything that she's probably about to say because I go over that entire, all those stories that she does, because it's when a lot of the stuff blew up with Monat the first time, with a lot of top leaders quitting and then going on their stories to speak out and going live to speak out and talk about their experience and how they've left for electric people, blah, 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 all that stuff. And then we saw top leaders like her, like desperate to recruit people and posting all these stories. So that's what I found this on her stories. And I think somebody also did comment on that video wanting more from Christina Smallwood. So here we are.
5 reasons. So these are all the objections. These are all the reasons someone's going to tell you no, the top 5. And then I went to each one and I just said my little 2 cents. You guys feel free to screenshot, feel free to make it your own. So like, I recommend doing this today. It was like, it's like the simplest thing to do. But skepticism, this is number 2, the pyramid scheme thing. Okay. So, understanding what a pyramid scheme is. It's usually what they mean is Ponzi scheme. And I just wanted to show you. So those are actually, they're live in my stories right now, but I'm going to add them to a highlight. So you guys can copy it, but pyramid scheme. Usually people mean Ponzi scheme, which is just the shuffling around of money from one place to the other. And how Monat is not a pyramid scheme is because we actually have our retail bonuses and we have customer sales. So you're not just making money by people partnering with you. You are actually able to earn a.
It's not about the fact that you can make commission off of sales, because sure, that is possible, but the majority of, like, it has to be over a certain percentage, and their customers are their reps. That's who buys most of the products. There isn't a lot of outside, literally just retail people buying. So, and I don't remember if I like went that deep into that because I was going through a bunch of things in that video, but it's just funny that she's like, well, because you can make money through retail. And it's like, no, that's not how it is. You have to make a certain percentage of your income has to be retail for it to not be considered a pyramid scheme. The majority of the money made here in Mon8, and CC Suarez had found that those files that were leaked because they didn't have their firewall up or whatever it was, proves that like the majority, I want to say like 90%, but don't take my word for it that that's a really high number. But the point is, the majority of their income comes from their downline and recruitment. It has nothing to do with actual retail sales. Like that was a very, very tiny percentage of what is actually made by these girls.
Commissions on product sales. The fact that we have a product, a lot of pyramid schemes don't, where they're like, do you want to retire your parents? You need to pay $500 and then it's going to be $200 a month. And then you
Ponzi schemes are money shuffling. Pyramid schemes have to do with the recruitment, and they can hide behind looking like a legitimate MLM model if there is one, but you get it.
to bring people in that are going to make, spend $500 and then $200 a month. And there's no product that they're talking about. It's literally just shuffling of money from person to person. And I've been to those kinds of meetings. And I remember being 18, my boyfriend at the time brought me to a meeting and he's like, we're going to change our lives. And I just remember being like, but what are we selling? Like they were just selling the dream. They weren't selling a product. And so Mon8 award-winning products, as we know, clinical data, results, like we have an amazing product. And this is a really important thing for you to know. It's going to make you sound.
Girl, you're still selling the dream. Still selling the dream. That's why you're here, teaching people how to recruit people, not how to sell shampoo.
You really know what you're talking about if you say Mon8 as a company is 70% customer centric, meaning 70% of our revenue comes from our customer base, not the reps. When you think about most network marketing companies,
that is a lie, and we know that now. So, in my opinion, based on real facts, but I have to be very careful with saying that just because that was like leaked information. But what she's saying, I do not think is the truth. I don't think that it can go from what it was before to this now in such a short period of time when we have proof of what it was a couple of years ago. That's all I'm saying. I don't think that's possible. So I don't think she's telling the truth, and I want to see proof of that if it is true. But again, we do have the proof that it wasn't always like that. So even if it is now, but this is literally just, okay, I'm done. You get it. I don't think she's right because of the information that we've seen before. There's no way that the data flipped like that fast.
who's buying the product? The reps. The reps are the only ones buying the products in a lot of network marketing companies. They don't even care about their customers. They are like, we're going to get you to be a rep. You're going to get this amazing product. They have reps that are the only ones that buy. That's why people go, oh, one of those, like, oh, then I got to be sign up to sell it. And then, I don't like that. With Mon8, we have 70% of the company's revenue comes from customers. So it's more like an actual retail business, except you can acquire it and get your own customers that you're paid a commission on. So that understanding that part really does make it not a pyramid scheme. And then, if they're like, well, you can't ever, you make money if you bring people on, and it's like, yeah, but if they bring on more people than you, they can out earn you. So it's not like you're stuck under this person, So I think just like it's really about education. And again, if someone is like, Cat Lady 445 commenting pyramid scheme, she's probably not open to a real conversation with it. So block. But if someone's in your DM and they're
the way you're not open to a real conversation about it, is that what you mean?
like, hey, I think this might be a pyramid scheme. Like, I'm worried about you, whatever. And if you explain, okay, this is why it isn't. And then they're like, oh, you know what? That's open to my mind or whatever. And I had a market partner join me a couple months ago. And I thought for sure by reading her first message to me that she was a hater and that she was just trying to grill me or quiz me on waiting for me to say the wrong thing that happens to me because I'm, so popular in the company. But it's like, okay, so I was reading it, but I was like, instead of block, I'm gonna answer this one because I like the way she kind of asked this. And okay, so I start going in conversation with her. We go.
Don't you think there'd be more top leaders if it was an even playing field and you could outrank your people at the top? Don't you think there would be way more people up at the top?
Back and forth, and I'm thinking that this chick's about to tell me off, cuss me out, block me or whatever. And then she goes, okay, you've convinced me, I'm going to do this. And I'm like, what? I had no idea. She didn't even say she was interested in joining the business, but she was grilling me. So I don't know. So you just never know either. It's hard. And it's easy to kind of go into defense mode when you've dealt with a handful of haters or negative. You're like, they all kind of sound the same, but this is why I'm always open to having a conversation. And if someone's bringing it to my DMs, very different than some blatant blanket statement that's a comment on a reel. You know what I'm saying? There's a level of maturity that goes into that and actual seriousness. And so never has someone commented some BS on my reel and then I go to bat with them in the DMs because I'm speaking from experience. experience here. I wasn't always this person you see today. I've definitely done everything and wasted a lot of energy trying to go to bat, and then realize, okay, I'm not going to change anyone's mind like that. And so I've continued to put out informative content. I stand wholeheartedly believing, this is in fact not a pyramid scheme. But it's just, there's some people you're not gonna be able to say the right thing to. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you give them all the facts, they are still gonna see it from their scope because their RAS, their brain is trained to look for all the bad. And I feel
Just like your brain is trained to, and what you're manipulating your downline to make sure that they don't leave and tell them that this is a good opportunity when it's not. It goes both ways, sister. Just saying.
very, very awful for people that have this mindset where they're trained to only focus on the bad. They're the only thing that's standing in front of themselves from all the blessings that this life has to offer. And if you ask the most successfully happy people in the world what they attribute their happiness to, it's gratefulness. Gratefulness. And what stops you from being grateful? Focusing on negative shit. So train your brain in the morning. Start out with your gratitude. Tell yourself all the things you're grateful for, even amidst trials. This was the hardest thing to do when Finley was, she had just had her surgery. She had a seizure outside of her surgery. I was the most scared I've ever been in my whole life. And I was still saying thank you to God that she's alive. And I had already trained my brain to focus on the positive. And it's how I could be going through the hardest things in life and literally be grateful. It's crazy. Krista's exactly like this. So if you guys are like, oh, they're, these leaders, and it's like, I've acquired other leaders that have this ability as well. And so maybe you're like that. Just write it out. And that's all you can do is continue to be a positive light. Never, ever stoop to being negative on your platform, ever. Because as soon as you turn that page and you're like this negative person on the platform.
Stating the facts about how the majority of people will lose money, and we have proof of that on their income disclosure statements, that's not being negative. That's being real. Can we stop doing that? That's not negative. That's being realistic. And sometimes you can't be all sunshine and rainbows because sometimes those are lies, and that's not okay.
There goes your reputation. Now everyone is going to secretly be thinking, I wonder if she's going to turn on me. And so I'm in this social media world for the long haul. I'm in this business for the long haul. I'm with this company and this team for the long haul. And so I think so big picture, and I'm so grateful. So anyways, I got way off track here, but I was liking where we were going with these questions and everything. And it's 10 now, and I hate keeping people for longer than an hour. I know I'm long-winded, but we will talk about flex ships real quick, and then we will go. And the Gucci, I'll announce the Gucci. Okay, so let me actually, why is my phone going right at this second? And then I get distracted. Okay, I have the screen share. I'm gonna announce the Gucci winners real quick, and then we'll talk about flex ships real quick at the end. Okay, the Gucci winners. Okay, so this is a really, really fun story because they are a mom and daughter. And so Wanda was here.
Cut this out. This is her love bombing and giving out fancy designer purses as like incentives for like recruitment and sales bonuses or sales and all that stuff in her team. I'm gonna cut this part out just so you guys know that that's what I'm taking out of the video.
And she got the 500 by the 15th. She hit MMP, so she got her, bonus last month. She also won herself a Gucci. So exciting. And then the deal was that if your upline was also MMP, then they would get a Gucci wallet. Okay. And so Brittany hit MMB last month, you guys. So she's getting the iPad. She's going to get a little Gucci wallet. She was at in Scottsdale with us. So I don't know. It was just like, I was so excited when I saw Wanda's name on the thing. And so it's just so cool. Imagine being a mom, doing this to have fun with your daughter, and this happens, super cool. So fun. So fun. Okay. So congratulations. And I want to do another contest. I'm going to have to think about what I want to do, but I will be announcing that in the classroom soon. But let's talk about flex ships real quick, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's 2 new resources in our back office. Let me grab my back office, make sure I'm logged in. Okay. So let me grab them real quick. Okay. All right. So you're on my Safari. Okay. So when you
Also watching that made me realize that I meant that I only ranked up to MMB, not MMP. Wow. I don't even remember the comp plan.
log in, you have this new customer sales bonus estimator. The fastest way to grow this is by full dollar amount items. Okay, so systems, oils, and flex ships. So when you're talking to your VIP customers, a lot of very green and amateur salespeople want to say like, oh, don't worry about the flex ship, you can just delete it. That's the worst thing you can do for your business, and you're doing it because you think it's going to lock in the sale for you. And what it's going to do is hurt your business. Okay, and there's
That's because when you're trying to recruit somebody, you don't want the flex ships to be necessary, because that is a deterrent. Because you guys are saying, oh no, it's not required. It is. you are required to have at least 2 flex-ships. Those have to go through, otherwise you have to pay something to cancel your VIP membership, and that's also information that people don't make clear when they're recruiting people into an MLM, when they're recruiting either VIPs or market partners into Mon8 specifically, that they don't give that information. They're just like, "Oh yeah, no, the flex-ship's not a big deal, you can just keep moving it." But it's like, after a certain point, like, then if you haven't gotten those flex-ships, you have to pay a certain amount to cancel your VIP membership. So just felt like that needed to be said.
But there's a different way that we can just slightly tweak your verbiage that can help you. But also under the shop tab, all this is also like news for you guys too, where when it says hot off the press, like if there's something that just came out about the Visionary Founders Pool, there's something that's like talking about a back in stock, the CC cream's back in stock. So, I mean, this stuff's all the news that you can be following, but under the top shop tab, there's the special offers tab now. So you can actually just tap that tab and see all the special offers that we have, including the product of the month, okay? Which is an amazing thing if you're thinking like, I don't know where to start with content this week. If you don't have these, I would order it. I would definitely order it. It's 46 bucks for you, and try it out. Do an unboxing of it, do a review of it, and you have the rest of the month to sell it to your VIP.
But the reps aren't the customers, right?
Where they're going to get double points. It smells amazing. I love the Unknot Detangler. Use it on my kids. The wave spray is amazing. I'll even, like, when I braid Finley's hair, I'll spritz it a little bit with that just to help kind of hold that wave. So there's a lot of different ways you can use it. So it's a great opportunity. We are still in the very beginning of the month for you to order this and then get it and do an unboxing with it. Your first, you can make a tutorial video with it. You can do a first impressions of it, explain the smell. Like, your audience loves that kind of stuff. And if they see you being excited about something, then they will also likely be excited about something. So, but as far as our commissions go, I love that new sales bonus tracker in the back office. It is really cool. And if you want to see that really go up, making sure that you are talking about the flex-ships. So what I will do is, if someone's interested in products, I will talk to them about all the products that I recommend for them. Okay, so and my goal in every conversation is to have someone fill out like my hair questionnaire.
All right, well, that was where it ended as far as her upload onto YouTube goes. So, but just a little thing on how she convinces people to do the flex-ships. People will still push out their flex-ships. So whatever, that doesn't matter. It's stupid that you have to commit to do after you tell them that they don't have to commit to ordering monthly, when just because it's not monthly doesn't mean that they don't still have to commit to ordering more product than that first order, and that's not fair. So yeah, that's what's going on with Christina Smallwood's team, as she completely ignores anything negative about this horrendous company. Again, thank you to the person that sent me that link. That was actually really entertaining to watch. And I know there's a lot more we could cover, so I'll keep sprinkling in, probably be doing a lot of money and stuff, because I do have a lot of content to share in regarding that company, and I know you guys really like talking about it, but I also do want to get into pharmacy, like I was saying, and some other companies along the lines. Or if you guys have seen any like MLM Huns Unhinged that you want me to watch, send me links, screen recordings, email me, message me on Instagram. I am Platinum Chelsea on all socials, but I'm pretty much only here or on Instagram. So thank you guys for watching. I hope y'all have the day you deserve, and I hope it is a wonderful one, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.